I'm sorry it's taken a bit for me to update this. I just got over having an awful cold, so I'm going to try to make this quick. I have two updates actually. Number one is for affordable dentures. It did not work out. I went in that next morning and I tried them on again, and they were a little bit better, but there wasn't much improvement. So I went back out into the waiting room. I called my sister. She was working. She works right down the street from where the dentist office is located. So I asked her. I took the advice of some of my subscribers who suggested taking someone with me, and I asked her if she would mind coming up there for the final try-in, because I knew that if the third time didn't work or didn't look like there was any hope for it at all, that I was just going to ask for a refund. So she sat in there with me, and I tried the third set on, and it just looked bad. And I don't know if they could have corrected it. I mean, maybe they could have. My main problem and my main reason for asking for a refund was that initially, those pictures that you saw at the end of my video, I mean, those were really awful looking. I don't think anybody can sit here and, even in the state that my teeth are in right now, can look at me and say those teeth looked good. They did not. They made everything look so funny. It was just ridiculous. And the fact that the dentist would have sold me those, he would have had me pay the money for those when they clearly looked awful on me, that made me extremely uncomfortable from the get-go. So I was not feeling it at all. So then the second time, I'm like, they don't look right, and they're trying to figure out what it is that I'm trying to convey to them. And it's like, well, you saw what I looked like when I came in here, and then you see how much of a difference it is. It's a bad change, and they still weren't getting it. And so for the third try, I was just like, I don't really feel comfortable, and I won't feel comfortable going forward with this, because they told me, the tech was telling me, that they could make little adjustments after I agreed to the set and got my permanent set, and I was like, nah, not doing it. So I got my money back. They didn't cause any problems with that or anything like that. I mean, they were still really polite, don't get me wrong. They were really polite. They had professional attitudes and everything like that. But I just did not feel comfortable in that environment. I didn't like the fact that I had to go into the waiting room with a mask on. For those of you who are kind of self-conscious about being around people without your teeth in, and then you have to go out there with a mask, like, it's not exactly comfortable. So my experience there wasn't the best, and yeah, I mean, you can't really, it's one of those things where you don't know, because it's a chain business, it's a chain practice, and, one may be awesome and the other might be bogus. So I didn't feel like that was the place for me to get my teeth from. So I got my refund, and I've been meaning to contact my dentist. I was going to go to another dentist, to try to find another dentist to maybe try to get them a little bit cheaper. But I think that I'm just going to go with what I know and go back to my dentist, because he did such an awesome job on this set. And, after I got this set, I mean, 3 days later, and of course, they're not going to be perfect 3 days later, but I was freaking out. I'm a new denture wearer, whatever, and I called him on his cell phone on his day off, and he came in to the office to make adjustments to my dentures for me, which, I mean, speaks volumes about him. It was just incredible that he did that. So I'm just going to go ahead and spend the money and go back to him, and hopefully I'll get a really good set for my permanent also. Permanent set also, whatever. Anyways, so, I said that they were broken. Well, I went denture shopping in Walgreens and CVS. For the crack, I got this kit. I can't remember who made it. I can't, and I threw the box away. I'm so sorry. But it's a little denture repair kit. It's a little box, easy to miss, and it repairs cracks or teeth that had fallen out of your dentures. And honestly, upon opening it and mixing it, it smelled like a nail salon. It smelled like acrylic, like straight up nail acrylic. Like I could probably fill my nails with that if I was to get my nails done, but whatever. That's exactly what it smelled like. So it was horrific smelling, because I mean, I don't mind that smell, but I'm pregnant. I shouldn't be inhaling those vapors. And I had the fans going, I had the back door open, and it was strong. I got a headache. It was crazy. So I attempted to repair my crack. It has worked. Like it's still cracked, and it still could cave in at any moment, but it's not as bad. It's not as unstable as it was before. The only warning I have for that, besides the awful smell and, the bad smell, is that you have got to be very tedious with that stuff, because if you get it on the plate of your denture and you don't scrape it off, you have to sand it down. And I did that, and now the top of my denture feels rough. It feels rough. And I've been told I can get another type of grit or whatever, but it's like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get that buffed, polished dentist effect on it. So if I was to recommend that product, I would only be recommending it as a very temporary fix, like until you can get into the dentist type, like you've already called them and set up the appointment type of fix. I wouldn't recommend using that for any long-term solution. That's just me, because you could also mess your dentures up, and you don't want to deal with that. So I got that, and then I got some Stain Away again, because I went so long without it, and I was amazed again. I was amazed all over again after soaking it in that and seeing the dramatic difference in how white they were. They were so white. I mean, I need to do it again, but they're not terribly bad right now. They're a little dingy. I mean, they could be jazzed up a little bit, but it's like pulling them out. It's like, oh my God, this really happened in there. So I still recommend Stain Away if you have issues with stains on your dentures or discoloration or whatever. It is awesome. That I got at CVS. I believe I got that at CVS. Anyways, and then last but not least, I had the issue of not having proper fitting dentures. So I got the home Reline kit. It's called Reline It, and I think that's by Doc or DOC, something like that. Okay. You can't mix it like it says on the package instructions. You just can't do it, because if you pour the powder in, if you pour the powder in first and then you pour the liquid in, which also it smells like straight up nail acrylic, it's going to be clumpy, and you're not going to be able to do anything with it, because I did that the first time, and thankfully I foresaw this happening in my head, that I would somehow mess something up. So I got 2 boxes, and it was the last 2 boxes. And lo and behold, the first box that I used, I botched it. And I still thought, well, maybe it'll smooth out when I put it in there, and I tried to salvage it and put it in there. No, it didn't. I had to scrape it out fast before it started drying. So threw that box out, and then used the second box after I Googled it. You have to love Google for some things, for everything really. And I saw where a guy posted, I think on one of the reviews, that he had put the liquid in first and then mixed powder in slowly, like as if you were, I don't know what I could compare that to. I'm sorry. I thought that I had a comparison. I don't. Anyways, you slowly add the powder to the liquid as you're stirring the entire time, and I had no clumps. It was the perfect consistency. It poured in easily. It didn't ooze over or anything like that. I mean, it was perfect. Put the teeth in, fantastic. Did it to the bottom, fantastic. I even corrected my bite, if you can tell. If you remember, my bite was off pretty badly. It was like a really bad overbite too. I corrected that on my own with that kit. It was awesome, but you have got to be extremely careful because when it dries, like over the next few days after you use it, when it starts to really harden up, there will no doubt be something jagged in there. And in my case, there was on the bottom side down here. And I guess it didn't even occur to me that it was just sharp, because I had sanded it. I mean, I used the sandpaper that came with the denture repair kit. I trimmed the excess off, but it wasn't, I didn't do a good job at sanding it or something like that, and it was still like, it wasn't smooth. It wasn't smooth. There was like a clean cut from the scissors that I didn't smooth out properly. Let me tell you, that dug into my gums something serious. It was probably worse than when a bone shard came in. I thought that I had a sore throat from being sick. It wasn't. It was because right here is where it was, and it had that whole area inflamed. It was just ridiculous. Like, I think it might have even got infected. I don't know. It was just really, my whole side of my face hurt from that, to where I was taking it out during the day, and then it dawned on me, like, they're messed up. Like, there's something wrong with these. So I went and investigated, and I saw, and it only takes a little bit being off to throw the whole system out of whack. And the whole system was, like, screwed up. So I trimmed more of the excess off, and then I really went over it with a nail file. One of those ones that you use for acrylic nails, where it's got the really hard grit on one side and then the really fine grit on the other side. I used that to sand it down, sand all the edges perfectly smooth, and then use the fine grit to kind of buff it out. Cleaned it off really good, and I'm telling you, I have not had a problem. Gargle with salt water every single day until it goes away. Salt water is like your best friend when it comes to sore spots. It is your best friend. So I don't know if I would recommend that product either, because it's really hard, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this product out. Like, it's not going to peel out like cushion grip is. So if there's a big chance that you could mess something up, and then I don't know what you would do about that. Your dentist would have to fix it if it doesn't break like some kind of warranty. I don't know. You probably have to pay to get it fixed if you messed it up. Thankfully, mine were at the end of their rope, and I was able to try this out because, I could have bought that before instead of the cushion grip, but I never did because I just didn't trust myself with my teeth, because I just don't want to mess them up. But it worked for me, and they are fitting good. Like, right now, I don't have any glue in my mouth at all, and they're fitting just fine. I mean, my bottom teeth, they feel huge. That's what that is. They just feel really big for my mouth. So these still need to be replaced. I need to get a hold of my dentist ASAP to replace these, but the kit did work. There's just a lot involved in making sure that you don't end up with some kind of really painful problem like I did. So that is my update, and I'm sorry I couldn't keep it short, but I forgot that I had to go into detail about all of that. So I will post an update as soon as I have my next appointment to get my permanent set. I really wish that I had good news to report back to you guys, but here's my final words, and I will leave it at this. If you do a wax try-in and you do not like the teeth, if you don't like anything about it, you do not let them tell you what you want to hear. You think logically and you say, no, they're not right. Because when you pay for them, not when you pay for them, but when you agree to go ahead and make the dentures, you're saying, I am satisfied with them, and this is fine. I'm okay with this. And no, you don't do it. You ask for your money back if you don't feel comfortable. If you've given them enough time to try to make a proper denture, and it hasn't worked out, do not agree to pay for a permanent set. Save your money, because I've gotten quite a few emails from people who are fighting to get money back or have lost the fight to get refunds for teeth that have already been made. So just do your research on where you're going to, and if you don't feel comfortable with the situation, then you have every right to walk away from it and get your refund. And it's nothing personal. Like, I have nothing personal against the people at that office. Like I said, they were very nice, you know, but when it comes to my teeth, I'm not just going to walk around with anything just because, you know, I let somebody sell me a dream. And, like, that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to sell me a dream, because there is no way those teeth ever would have looked good at any point. They were awful. So that is my final words for the night. So you guys take care. And thank you, everybody who has asked me for updates and has been genuinely concerned in how I'm doing. Pregnancy's going fine. I will find out what the baby is next month. Everything's all good. Life is great. So you guys take care.